Hey guys, we're My Chemical Romance. We want to thank you guys for an amazing year. Thank you so much to everybody that came out to the shows, everybody that listened to the Black Parade, everybody that was so supportive and believed in the band. We had an amazing year, and we look forward to seeing you guys next year. So, Happy New Year.
That was fucking gay!
I know, wasn't it?
Hello everyone, welcome back to another album review. I know this is a different video, a different intro, but we're doing this, and we're going to be reviewing My Chemical Romance's 2006 epic gamer album, The Black Parade. And here with me I have SMNICK.
Yo, what's up, guys?
And I have Hunter, I almost said his last name, Hunter from the Scarabyte YouTube channel. Say hi.
Hi.
So we're going to be reviewing The Black Parade. This is one of Hunter's favorite albums of all time. So yeah, this is probably, well, I don't think there's really any argument. This is definitely their best, their biggest album.
Yeah.
And I guess it is. Yeah, I would say it's also their best in terms of quality, although it isn't my favorite. Bullets for the win. But this is probably their best in terms of quality. This is really more. Well, I guess with every MCR album, their sound kind of changes. But I think this is the sound that really defines them as a band in the public eye, because it's their biggest, and I guess it's what most people kind of expect when they go into an MCR album.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like it was a bit hard for them to progress as a band.
Because Three Cheers was already a huge album, and then this came out and just surpassed that in all the categories possible. So it is kind of hard for them to kind of go out to the next album when they did this. And Gerard Way even said he didn't see My Chemical Romance going past The Black Parade,
Yeah,
which is
like a clip of him saying that.
And it is kind of weird to see Danger Days right after this because of how drastic the sound changes. Subject matter.
A lot of people don't like that album because it's their
Not
last,
good.
but also they're like really this is the last.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that that's what they went out on.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. So let's get into the songs. So the first track on this album is The End, which is a very, very short song. It's more of an
Very
introduction.
But that doesn't stop it from being such a banger.
It's really a fade in to the next song. It kind of just works as an introduction to the next song, but it's still a standout song on its own. It starts out with the palm muting guitar and then like the heart monitor in the background. It really sets the tone for the album, I would say.
Yeah, and it's I love the guitars, and I love how it just builds up all at the end, as or in like the chorus. You know, it's really interesting. Really interesting song.
It's a very theatrical track. Very dramatic.
Along with
Yeah.
Gerard singing.
It feels a good. It's a good way to make you feel power but depressed at the same time, and I think that's what they want with the album. So it was very good. The way they went
I would
about it.
agree with the whole thing being theatrical. I think that's a big point with this album, because
With the whole-
I wouldn't
all of the
say
songs.
any of their other albums are as theatrical as this. Like, yeah, Three Cheers is somewhat that way, but I think The Black Parade has the best concept, and I think all the songs kind of have that theatrical element to them, especially with Gerard Way's vocals.
Yeah. No, you're gonna expect me to compliment Gerard's voice a lot in this thing. This is probably his best.
His vocals, he's one of my favorite vocalists of all time. I think he has a lot of really great standout vocals on this album in general. And pretty much every
It's
song,
really
his vocals are a
different,
good
that's
standout.
why.
Yeah, he's one of the most unique voices in rock music. So The End kind of bleeds right into the next song, which is Dead. I'm not going to make the memes, but if you know, you know.
This song's actually a cover of what was the artist who did it? Can't remember their names, but these two guys, they made the
Douchebags.
song. No, not a lot of people know it, but this song Dead was actually a cover.
No one's gonna get the joke, but whatever. But yeah, Dead.
So yeah, I think this is one of the best songs on this whole album.
It really is.
I think this is probably the best album opener they've ever had. These two songs back to back as the opener, because they fade into each other. It's like one big
So
theatrical
basically one-
opener. But I think the transition from The End to Dead is really cool because the guitars just break off from the end, and you just hear the heart monitor going on with the guitar. It's a really intense moment in the album, and this song is one of the most energetic of all of the albums.
Oh, yeah.
It's really
It is.
probably the most punk rock inspired, I'd say. I mean, I guess they are kind of like an alternative like punk rock band, but this song is probably the song that feels the most like that, because a lot of the other songs have like metal tinges, a lot of different sounds, and you can't really classify really any song on this album because it's all very different. But I think that's probably the closest it gets to the punk rock music on this song.
The guitars and the whole band really shines in this one.
Oh yeah, the guitar solo is great, and I think another thing that makes MCR stand out is their guitarists. Frank Iero and Ray Toro are amazing guitarists, and I think this album again is where they shine the most with their guitar skills.
Yeah,
it really just
all
shows.
with it.
I think the album is really Ray's show. It's the album is Ray and Gerard carrying it on their backs. The rest of them are great, but I do think that Ray and Gerard are the most. I think they deserve the most credit. They all did hard work.
Yeah, they are like the main parts of the band.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They are probably the most outstanding members in the band. That's not to denounce anyone. Everyone did a great job. But I think this song has one of the best guitar solos. I think this ending's really cool.
I love the ending.
La, la, la.
Yeah, I love
It's got that really cheery kind of feel. But this song is really dark. But it has a really cheerful tone near the end.
It's really
And it goes
underrated
through, like,
on
many
those lists.
point of views,
Mm-hmm.
Because first it's like the point of view of the patient, and then it's the doctor at the end telling him that he's gonna die or something.
Yeah,
by
the bridge
by
in
the way,
this is really cool.
This is a concept album. Just in case.
Yeah,
you
this
haven't
is
mentioned
a concept album. If you didn't know that before you
that.
went
Yeah,
into
it's
this
about a
video,
guy who
then
has
leave.
cancer,
Yeah.
and he has like 2 weeks to live.
Yeah, so the first few songs are just kind of like the beginning, like him getting the cancer and the doctor telling him, like in this song, Dead, in the
I don't
bridge.
know what the end is about, but Dead is him like telling him that he has cancer and stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, so that's the end and Dead, and then after that you're really into the album. You're fully into it.
Yeah.
This is How I Disappear. This was one that really crept up.
Fuck!
Okay, that's
We'll get to
probably the
that in
best
a
part of
bit.
that song. We'll get to that. But this is one that I didn't really like as much. But then after re-listening to it, like in the last few weeks, it's been creeping up a lot in my top 5 on this album. I really love this song.
Yeah, it's really. It has that really 2000s feeling to it. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe something about Gerard's voice or something. I don't know. Something about it just has that 2006 emo era type thing. Even though it's not really emo.
Yeah, and this song is like every single song really kind of relates to the concept. But this one is more about him, like, this is how I'm going to disappear once I die, or what's going to happen
how he's,
after
like,
he
forgotten.
dies. If he gets forgotten. And I think that song definitely plays into the concept really well, because it is a very demented song. It sounds very disturbing with its. It has a lot of guitar, a lot of heavy guitar on this. The bridge is really different. Very
Especially when
heavy.
it gets to like the bridge and stuff.
Yeah, the bridge is probably the best part of this song. That's
Yeah.
probably my favorite part of it.
Now we're gonna mention it.
Yeah, let's mention it. Let's talk about it.
That's my favorite part out of this whole song, and probably one of my favorite moments on this album. I don't know what it is. It just it's so energetic. This is probably one of my favorites just because of that scream that Gerard does.
It's so just in the back of the mix. It's so hard to hear, but once you hear it, you just can't unhear it. It's one of the best parts of the song.
It's for some reason there's like a censored version, and then they just take that part out. The part
And
that's
that's it.
supposed to lead up to the fuck part.
Just get rid of it.
I have the censored version of the CD, and the CD is what I listen to the most, so I had no clue that was a thing.
You didn't know that then it must be really awkward, because I listened to the censored version. It just sounds so awkward. He just says "let me go," and then that's it. He just shuts up and it goes back to
When
the
I
chorus.
first started listening to this album, I never realized he did that ever.
You never noticed he did the
I never noticed it. It was always labeled like explicit on like all the streaming services. I'm like, what's the lyric? And I looked it up and it just says "fuck" just in the middle. Like, oh, I never noticed that until like about a
even
few
though
months
he
ago.
blatantly says it.
Yeah, I don't know how I never noticed it, but I did. Just a
Yeah.
few months ago.
I guess that's kind
It's
of
weird.
I have no idea how. Like, I first listened to it, and then of course I listened to the censored version, but then I heard there was an uncensored version where he says "fuck," and then like
It's so random. But yeah, this is a really great song. One of my favorites. Next song, The Sharpest Lives.
this is one of my favorites.
This is not. I don't say it's one of my favorites, but I don't hate any of the songs on this album. I love this song.
I love this song. I think this is about like his drug addiction or something, his alcohol addiction. Patient.
Hunter
I
knows more
think-
about it than I do.
Yeah, but that's what I got out of it. But
I think it was about I think it was kind of about how irresponsible the patient was and how he was never really into anything. He was always just he never wanted to be there. He never wanted to socialize. He just always wanted to fucking, just be drinking and whatever.
Yeah.
So kind of.
Yeah. From the energy of the voice, you can feel like what he's feeling. From Gerard's
Oh,
voice.
definitely. I think this album does a good job with taking the music and have it relate really well to the concept of the album and the song. And I said that with the last song, but I think this song's even better with it because, as Hunter said, is the song with his point of view talking about like how he didn't care, how he just was drinking his life away.
Oh.
And I think this song is a really good. This music kind of takes the lyrics and it kind of pushes them up a notch because the guitar and the instrumental was really weird in this song. The beginning part where it's like that weird like those synth jabs. It's really weird at the beginning. That's all you hear for like the first like 40 something seconds of the song.
The beginning of it was just like you're talking about the beginning, right? Where it's like dun 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 dun
Dun,
dun
dun, 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 yeah.
I thought that was just bass.
Yeah, I don't even know. It sounds like synth
Sounds like
jabs to
just
me, but I
bass.
have no clue what it is.
Actually, I'm pretty sure, and I forgot to mention this, but I'm pretty sure, I just remembered, I think it's also partially about him being afraid that he's gonna go to hell. I think I remember.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that before. Yeah.
So I've said this before and I'll say it again. This song sounds like Final Boss music. I don't know.
It does
why.
sound like Final Boss music.
It just does.
This also has one of the best choruses in the album, I'd say. To remember. It's really catchy, really catchy song.
Very catchy song.
And all of this leads up to probably MCR's biggest song, "Welcome to the Black
Rightfully
Parade."
so, by the way.
This is weird because this is when he dies in the concept
Yeah.
of the album.
Well,
This
in
is
the
when
music
he
video,
when
he dies.
in the music video he dies.
Yeah.
It's weird because this concept is really weird because it's not a play-by-play of him dying.
Yeah.
It kind of goes all throughout. So I would kind of see this as him dying, and then later at the end of the album it revisits that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what my thing is, because then
I
it
mean,
goes
'cause,
into like
like,
I love you
it's
and cancer and all
From
that.
the music video, he dies, and then it's like saying your memory will carry on, and then.
Yeah, I
and
kinda-
I'm
I kinda
guessing,
see
like,
this
the
as
rest of
him
it is him reflecting
dying.
on his life, like as he's
It's,
dead.
yeah, I kind of see it as him like first like dying. Like this is when we
Yeah.
first hear of him dying. Everything else is kind of what happened before he died. Because the first few songs on the album I see is him like being told about the cancer, him like preparing to die, wondering about if he's gonna go to heaven or hell or not, and then him dying. And I see everything from like I Don't Love You to Teenagers as kind of like what happened before, like everything that he was thinking of while he had cancer. This song is epic. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you could say about this album that is epic, but this is probably
This is
the
probably
climax where it's as epic as it gets. Gino at the beginning, that piano intro is so iconic.
It's
And then that goes into that. The song does sound like a parade at the beginning.
yeah, because of the drums.
With
and
those, the drums sound really good.
Sounds like a
The guitars really have that anthemic feel to them. It's just a really epic song.
It's a very iconic song, and I can understand why people say this is like the new generation's Bohemian Rhapsody.
I was actually about to say something about that. The number one thing I've heard about this song, other than the cringy Gino memes, was that it has a very heavy Queen influence, and
This whole album was
I-
inspired by Bowie and Queen.
I think that they actually tried to capture the same feel as Bohemian Rhapsody with this song, and they did it well.
They do.
Definitely.
No, they
This
did
is one of those
more
songs
than
that has
I
multiple
feel like this is
sections.
almost, in my opinion, probably almost better. Yeah.
I think this is one of Gerard Way's best vocal performances too. If you've ever tried singing this, it's like one of the most
You'll-
impossible songs to sing ever.
You'll have your voice will be really, really dry.
This just shows you how amazing Gerard Way is as the vocalist. And even with the next album, I don't think he ever really lost any of it.
No.
He when he did it live, actually, he was never able to do it quite as well. I feel like he
Yeah,
would've
and the
blown out
Black
his
Parade
voice
is Dead. I
and
think he
tried.
like lowered the pitch
Well,
a little
that's
bit
the
at
case
the
for
end.
most of the songs he sings on that concert. Like he was
He
already
was-
dead. He was already just like tired.
He wasn't very good with breath control. I
Yeah.
think the best Welcome to the Black Parade performance I ever heard was 2007 New Year's on Jimmy Kimmel. That was probably his best performance for Welcome to the Black Parade. That's where he
I've
got
actually never
closest.
seen that. I've actually never seen that. I
I
should
mean,
watch
if you
that.
kind
soon.
of think about it, the
That one's
Black
my
Parade
favorite,
is
you
dead.
should
He's
watch it.
kind of weak when it comes to his vocals because he's like always panting for air.
But I think he was better studio than he was live. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say that.
Definitely,
But
definitely.
when he is
Definitely,
live and he's doing
yeah.
vocals like that, it's still when he does hit high notes like that, which isn't all the time, but when he does, it's always done pretty
It's
well.
'cause-
So
it's 'cause
yeah.
here's the difference. When he does stuff live, okay, I'll put the end for example. You know the scream where he does in the chorus.
Mhm.
He either gives the mic to the audience so they sing it for him, or
Mhm.
he just screams his lungs out but doesn't sing.
Mhm.
When I grow up, I want to be nothing at all, like that. And
Yeah.
it's just bad. But then like something like in the studio recording, he pulls it off perfectly. It's
Mhm.
weird when it comes to him. Like he's a good vocalist,
Yeah.
but
I guess it is because with studio you can retake it and you can kind of
yeah,
make it the way you want it.
you could do like you can have like the recording that you hear on the album version, that could have easily been like different takes.
Yeah. Not a lot of people could do that to begin with,
Yeah.
so he deserves the break not being able to do it live.
Yeah. Because I've seen videos of freaking freaking Mercury not being able to do notes like that live. It happens with every great
It
vocalist.
happens with everybody. Michael
Yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah, what was that performance where Freddie he had to test the waters because he knew he wouldn't be able to do it? So
Yeah,
he had to put it down.
he was like, yeah, he messed it up the first time, but then all the times after that, he kind of lowered it because he knew he couldn't hit it because he was like sick.
Yeah.
And that's what good performers do. They kind of lower when they know they can't pull it off and ruin the performance if they try to do it. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like-
Welcome to the Black Parade.
Welcome to-
Next song is this is where it kind of deviates off into like at least how I view it, where it kind of delves into what he's thinking of while he has cancer. And I Don't Love You is kind of talking about his love life, his relationships, what happened in his life with women. It's a very
I love
depressing song.
I think it's the most obvious song. You don't really have to think much about, you know,
it's
what.
very blatantly clear what he's talking about here. Just
Yeah.
I still come back to this one frequently. Oh, I would say it's probably in my top 5. I love this song a lot.
It's grown on me a lot since I first heard it.
Yeah, because Hunter is what who got me into MCR. That's how we kind of like became friends and talked. But he was telling me like some songs that were like not as good, and he mentioned "I Don't Love You," and I remember I listened to it the same night, and I was like, oh, I really like this. And he said "Sleep" in there too, which we'll talk about that because we have conflicting opinions on that. But "I Don't Love You" is a great song, really heartbreaking. The music video is really weird too. It's like
really
this
weird.
weird white
It's not like a
lady and-
generic like it's not like a generic like love story where it's like two couples. It's like people in like makeup, but then they kiss and it's Gerard singing, and then it's Gerard singing with the band, but then it's a weird music video.
It is very weird, but it's
But
really
you
cool.
get it. But you get the point of it.
This is no
It's just
bullet
so
for my
weird.
Valentine, tears don't fall. It's the
Yeah. Oh, House of Wolves. This is, I would say this is one of my favorites. Probably my favorite
grew
on
on
this
me.
album.
It grew on me.
I've
I used
always
to not
loved-
like it, but it grew on me.
I love this song a lot.
I'm gonna go in hell.
This is one of the songs that's talking about the patient's thoughts about going to heaven or hell. It's probably one of the darkest on this album, but it's done in a way that that doesn't sound like that. It kind of has that punk influence I talked about with Dead, where it has like those fast guitars, not really anything too heavy. But it is really, really cool, and I think Gerard Way's vocal performance is really cool, especially on the bridge where he does those really fast-paced vocals.
House
I
of
really don't
Wolves.
have much else to say about House of Wolves, to be honest. I mean, the chorus is catchy. Say that.
Yeah, this is another one of those songs that has a really catchy chorus.
Cancer.
Oh, okay. Rip the House of Wolves. I love that song a lot. Okay, next up is Cancer. This is another really depressing song. This one tackles the main topic of the album, really.
I love
At
when
its
he
core.
when Gerard sings this song live. I could say that.
Yeah, he always does a good job of it live. This is one that
21
is really
Pilots ruined it,
on the
though.
nose. Another one that's really on the nose, kind of like I Don't Love You, but it tackles like the main subject of the album, where he's talking about his cancer and what he wants done
Very
with him
brutal.
once he's dead.
Very-
Yeah, it's a very heartbreaking, it's a really devastating song.
Doesn't Frank cry every time he hears it live? Or which one of them is it? One of them cries. I think
It's one of them. I don't remember who, but I heard that somewhere.
Someone
Someone
cries.
did. Someone cries. But this is a really heartbreaking song. But you know, 21 Pilots verse is really freaking good. I mean, I gotta be straight up honest with you.
Rain, don't get me started.
Can you just rant about the
Yeah, can you
21
rant on
Pilots
that for a
version
second?
about
Because
the-
it's really
Okay.
bad, but I want to hear your thoughts on it.
The fucking 21 Pilots version. Actually, I used to ride this bus with this girl who was growing out of her emo phase. She said, like, oh, you're gonna be over it too. I'm getting there. And, I sent her the link. I said, hey, this is a really good MTR song. And she said, oh, no, I like the 21 Pilots cover better. And I said, well, could you send that to me? Right? And I did. And I hated it. And I gagged and I almost threw up. And
It's really bad.
I still hold that against her to this day. I hate that cover. It's bad. They tried to make it into something it's not. It is insulting. It is it tries too hard to be depressing, and it doesn't work. It's awful. It's the worst thing I've ever heard, and I hate it. That's it.
They tried making it something different. It really wouldn't work with any other style. It has to be a simple piano song with some drums and orchestral stuff in the back, and that's all you need. It's a beautiful song. You don't need to add anything onto it.
If they could get rid of the remixing part, I could probably give it a listen a little more often. But then they try to make it like a fucking whatever that is, and they ruined it even more.
But Cancer, the original, is really.
But this
good.
is. Yeah, this is I already said, but this is a devastating song. This is a really crushing song. Mama.
I love this song.
I love this
One
song
of my
too.
favorites, top 3.
This song is. I've said a lot of these songs are demented, but this is probably the most demented out of all of them. Literally, the first line is "Mama, we all go to hell." That's just say literally everything right there.
Yeah. You should have raised a baby girl.
Yeah, I should have been a better son. Oh my god.
That's Gerard coming out of strands, because we all know he is.
But this is like a really disturbing song. It has that weird intro with like a weird like explosion thing, and this really like strange sounding. Is it a guitar? I don't know what it is,
but
but
the beginning of the song sounded very familiar to me.
Yeah, it has a really distinctive sound.
Yeah, it's
like a show tunes almost.
Yeah,
it sounds
something
very
like that.
familiar
Yeah.
to me, even though I've never heard this song before.
Well, actually, Hunter made this comparison that sounds like "Caught Like a Fly" by Falling in Reverse.
Oh shit! Yeah, you've never heard that, but you should give that a listen. I do think it sounds very similar.
I've heard it before. I heard it like once or twice. It does sound a lot like it. But...
Like a fair almost. Kinda
yeah,
like that?
yeah, that's the best comparison. Like a clown theme or like something from a fair is what it kind of sounds like.
Just more depressing on
Yeah,
on-
this is really all more demented. This song has like 2 sections to it, where the
it
first
does.
section is like the verse, chorus, verse, and then it has this really like breakdown section where he's like "Mama," and it like fades out and he's like crying or whatever. And then it goes into that
Hopefully his
Liza
mom finds
Minnelli
it.
snippet where she's like singing and it's like old, like, and it's really creepy. And then it builds back up with Gerard like screaming, and it has this really like creepy section. I've always pictured like this really like demented group of like dead people like walking down this deserted alley like singing this with like torches and stuff. That's what I always think of when I hear this section.
I
Sounds like
imagine
something
the
people would
Ryan
chant in a
Joker
mob.
when he's
Yeah.
dancing in the car. I actually made
Mhm.
a video. I made a tribute to Joker with that. I think it was perfect.
With Mama?
Yeah.
I never know.
That would work really well. Yeah. This is one that I do come back to this one a lot, but I will say the next song I think is better.
Sleep.
I love this song to death.
love the
I
ending.
love this song.
More than anything.
I love everything about this song. This song is really disturbing too. This 2 songs are probably some of the most disturbing on the album, but it starts out and it has this audio clip of this guy talking about his night terrors and it's a bunch of weird stuff that's happening. And then this piano breaks in and all of a sudden these guitars come in and they're like ripping through these riffs, and they sound really fast. They sound really like it's one of the most, I think probably one of my favorite guitar riffs on the whole album, that beginning part.
If I'm being entirely honest, I used to really not like it at all. It's still at the bottom of my list, but it's grown on me. I can appreciate it for what it was. I think I had a bias against it because whenever I'd listen to the album, it's always when I would get a headache is when that song came. So I thought,
Yeah, me too.
you know, that-
The end.
yeah.
The end is
What-
my favorite part.
You to
Everything
work
that
out.
comes to a climax, George screaming "Wake up" over and over again in the
Yeah.
background. There's just it's
And
really
it's weird because you could barely.
it's really
hear it.
energetic. And then that vocalizing at the end with Gerard, that's probably my favorite, at least one of my favorite Gerard Way vocal moments ever. That little backing vocal he does with that guitar riff going on. I love this song so much. I don't understand Hunter's thoughts on it at all.
I just think I had a bias because, you know.
Yeah, I
always
get the
get-
bias a lot because
Yeah.
you're coming right off of Mama, so I get it. But I've always loved this song a lot. Well, actually, no, I didn't always love it because the first time I listened to the album, it felt really long, and it is like 5 minutes long. But it's so epic now. I think this might be my second favorite on the album, if not my first. I don't know. Yeah, I love this song a lot. And then right after that, we go into one of the like most cheerful songs in the whole album.
The funny part about this song is just why Gerard wrote it. He just saw a bunch of teenagers. He just wrote this.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I'm right. This.
Gonna write.
It
There's
seems really out of place. This kind of reminds me of
really
like
add to the
American
story,
Idiot,
too.
like Wake Me Up When September Ends, where it's kind of on the album, and it kind of relates to the concept, but it kind of doesn't at the same time.
I mean, does it? I mean, to be honest with you, like, what does this really add to the story? I mean, I could be really wrong.
It's kind of the same thing as like this whole this section of the album where it's, I guess it's him talking about his like high school teenage years, I guess, and I guess that kind of relates to the next song, which we'll talk about. But this is not one of my favorites. I say this is probably the most overrated MCR song, but it is still really good. Yeah,
It's just a good southern rock song. That's all I have to say.
It's nothing
Yeah.
amazing, it's nothing great, but it's like,
it's nothing
It is
too
good.
outstanding. Although it is really it's a really nice song.
but it doesn't deserve to be their biggest hit.
Well, yeah,
Like, maybe
really
if it were on a
good.
different album, I could give it
Yeah,
that.
I can see this
But
fitting on
album,
Danger Days really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they would have to change it up a bit to fit Danger Days too, but
Yeah, but
it's better than it being on the Black Parade, I guess.
yeah, I get that. And next up is, this song is too good. Disenchanted. Hunter didn't like this song. He did like this song, but he didn't like it as much. He kind of put it in the same category as Sleep at first. Whenever I
Now
first talked to him,
it's way up there. It's way up on.
it's in my top 3 definitely on this album. This is a really crushing song too. I've said this a lot on this album, but this is a really dark album. There's something you have to know this before you get into this. This album's about death. This album's about a cancer patient. Get it. get through it. This is a really dark album, but this is really the climax. I see this is him dying, but kind of at the same time as Welcome to the Black Parade, where Welcome to the Black Parade is when we first hear about him dying, and everything else after that is kind of him reflecting on life before he died, and then it goes back to when he dies. I don't know, but this is
And what makes
this
you
is
say
really
that?
because
What
first I say the first part of this is really weird how they organized it, but the first section of the album is I see him getting diagnosed with cancer in his
Yeah,
final
he died.
moments of life, and then I see everything from I Don't Love You to like teenagers as him like reflecting on his life before he was told how much he had time to live, like he was like reflecting on what his life was like.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of weird how they ordered it. And then I see Disenchanted as him like fully dying. And this is one of the most depressing songs I've ever heard. One of the most I won't say heartwarming, but it really touches your soul, makes you question a lot of things.
What about you, Hunter?
I don't think he dies right here. I think he's just about to die, and no, I think at the end of the song he flatlines, and then when Famous Last Words starts, he comes back to life because he didn't die.
This is the big part everyone argues about whether he dies at the end.
Because of this fucking song.
I think he survives. I agree with Hunter. I think he comes back.
I mean, it's a very uplifting song.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why most people assume, but then it's weird. It's weird because he's like, I'm not afraid to keep on living, but aren't you supposed to be dead? And it's like,
Yeah, I see the music video as kind of proving what we think, because it shows like the band performing around this like burning parade from the Welcome to the Black Parade video, and I kind of see it as him leaving, I guess the patient leaving his what happened behind them and kind of moving forward with life. And this is a really good song too. This chorus is really catchy too. But I think my favorite part of the song is the bridge, where it's like, I see you lying next to me.
That's also a highlight.
That's probably my favorite part of the song.
And it's a really good ending, and I mean it's almost really clever because it has people still talking about it to this day.
Yeah, people still talk about this like 13, 14 years after the album came out.
Actually, something weird in the video. Really weird, but during certain frames in the song, in certain frames in the video, actually, you can see Gerard wearing a skeleton mask, which was kind of weird. It was kind of random, but it's only a few quick frames, you know. And I thought that was kind of weird, but it's really cool.
So what, in you guys' opinion, what do you guys think is the full length story of this?
I mean, I don't think there's much to it. It's just like, you know, you get cancer, you arguably die of cancer, or you think about how you're gonna die of cancer. You realize you were a prick when you were alive, and you wish you could go back and do it again. I think wouldn't be too much of a stretch. And then he just doesn't fucking die or something. I don't know.
See, I see this album. Here's the thing. A lot of people write this band off as being emo garbage, which really pisses me off, because those people probably haven't listened to a full album from this band, because this is far from the emo garbage you usually like associate this band with, because this is not the typical crap you'll hear. This is like this is really unique music. There's a reason why this band got as big as they did, because this music is really different. It makes you question things. There's a lot of lyrics and vocal performances here that are amazing. The guitars are great. The whole concept of this album is great. Every single song is great. I don't think any other band around them or labeled as the same genre as them would have been able to do something as grand as this.
And you know, like, when people associate MCR and they just and it's just, and I think MCR just kind of embrace the fact that they're an emo band, even though they're really not. If you think about it, I mean, it doesn't really help from their album covers. But
yeah, freaking Three Cheers type beat.
And it was about dead people. The Black Parade was literally about people dying, and the whole goal of them was to help kids. So of course they're going to be labeled emo.
Yeah.
But yeah, this album helped a lot of people when it came out. This album related to a lot of people, and I think people like Hunter, who, like, this is one of Hunter's favorite albums. He told me about how it did relate to him at the time and how it helped him through a lot of things. And I think that's the same thing with a lot of people, where they're feeling certain things or questioning things about death and whatever. And I think this album can help people with that. And I think that overall, this is an album that you have to be ready to feel things when you listen to it. It's something where you have to be ready to hear about these topics. You have to be ready to, you have to be ready to hear things like that, because this isn't something you can just sit down and listen to and just be like, hey, gamer music. Like, this is something you have to think about.
And even then, the music is amazing.
Yeah, even then the music is amazing, definitely.
But then on top of that, the concept is amazing, and then the vocals are amazing, but just all in just one package, and it's just you just get something great.
I'd say if there is an album that would really define the 2000s, it would be this.
It would be the Black Parade. So, guys, final thoughts?
This album, I used to have a lot of panic attacks thinking about just thinking about dying. And when I said, hey, My Chemical Romance, I knew them. When I saw their Black Parade album in Walmart, the censored version, because Walmart is retarded, I picked it up and I put it in, and I was instantly blown away. And they they mean a lot to me. Yeah, I'm not afraid of death anymore. Like, someone could put a gun to my head and say I'm gonna pull the trigger, and I'll just okay.
We're gonna do this. Rate the album, 2 favorites, 2 least favorites, and wrap it up. Overall, this isn't my favorite MCR album, because I love Bullets way too much. But I think this is probably my second favorite My Chem album. I don't think there's a bad song. I think this is one of the most defining albums of the last 20 years. Every song's good. There are no skips. You should listen to this and question life. I give this a 10 out of 10. No, by the way, favorite songs are Sleep and House of Wolves, and least favorites are Teenagers and Cancer. There you go.
I think this album really, it's weird because I really don't like a lot of music. And listening to this, I thought just like everybody else, MCR garbage emo band Lamau. But then I listened to the Black Parade, and then it just completely changed. And for me, I don't just listen to an album all the way through, right? I just listen to songs one by one. So then first I listened to Dead just because of Lane, and then I went to This Is How I Disappear, and Welcome to Black Parade, and so on and so forth. And then I was like, this actually isn't bad. This is actually like really good. And then I listened to the whole album together, and it's all just it's all good. Like, it's all just an experience, Listen to this album as an experience,
Yeah, this isn't one of those albums you have to listen to from start to finish and delve into every song.
This is the Black Experience by Amari Evers.
Favorites as of right now, How I Disappear, The End, Sharpest Lives, Black Parade, and I Don't Love You.
So literally like every song.
Basically every song. Least favorites, to be honest with you, probably Disenchanted and Sleep.
Oh, that crushes me. All right, whatever. What would you rate this?
10 out of 10 album.
10 out of 10. Perfect.
Don't call me emo in the comments, guys.
All right, so I came to the painful decision that my least favorite tracks on the album have to be "The End" and "Sleep."
Oh.
The End isn't a very good standalone track, so I feel I'm kind of entitled to say that that's one of my least favorites, because you can't listen to it on its own. It just doesn't really work.
Yeah.
It's far
Especially
too
the
short
end,
for
'cause it
that.
just cuts out.
Yeah, it's incomplete without Dead, and I can't say if that's my least favorite, because you'll see why. And Sleep, as I said, it was always the point where I got a headache. It's the best worst song on the album. It's the one that can be good, but be like, alright, I get it, at the same time. And my favorites are, as you could probably guess, Dead and House of Wolves. Because Dead is ear porn and House of Wolves is emotion porn. Well, here's the thing. You guys have both said 10 out of 10, so I feel entitled to put a 10, but at the same time, I want to give it a 9. Just because I don't want to look like I'm just kissing its ass, you know? So I'm going to settle at a solid 9.5 out of 10.
Respectable. Definitely.
And with that being
All
said,
right.
that is the Black Parade.
Thanks for waiting to the end. Now let's talk about blood. All right. So, hope you guys like the meme. If you didn't, screw you. This was funny. What are your thoughts on blood? What is everyone's thoughts on blood?
I would have put it at my least favorite instead of probably instead of Sleep. But I didn't want to do that because we hadn't talked about it yet. You know, it's a fun song, but it's just not a good. It's pointless.
Yeah, it kind of ruins the album because you listen to it at the end and you're like, oh wait, there's blood there. If I want to listen to this whole thing, I gotta wait 2 minutes to hear blood. But I like it. It was always one of my favorites when I first started getting into the band. It's not one of my favorite songs at all now, but when I listened to it, and it's just really weird. It has that. It's not a greatly mixed song, but I guess that's the whole point. It's just some goofy song they put at the end of the album. Before we end this review, I want to give mention to the B-sides. My Way Home is Through You, one of my favorite My Chemical Romance songs. Kill All Your Friends is essential. Listen to it. Heaven Help Us is not very good, but I still really like it. So that's that. Those are the B-sides. Just wanted to note those because I really like those, and they're really underrated. Well, except for maybe Kill All Your Friends, but whatever. But yeah, check those out if you haven't, because I really like those B-sides. So yeah, that's what's pretty much gonna wrap up this review. Plug your shit.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I have a YouTube channel where I post just a bunch of cancer. I made a video with Lane as well. And reviewing Linkin Park's Minutes to Midnight. And subscribe for more clickbait cancer videos. And
yeah, I'll put his channel link in the description, and I'll put his SoundCloud if he wants me to.
I mean, you don't have to.
I'll put it in there anyway. All right, Hunter, plug whatever you want to plug.
If you guys like inconsistent uploads and Raimi meme shit posts, then subscribe to me at Scarabyte. That's all.
All right, his channel link will also be in the description. Subscribe to the channel that you're watching right now, The Smooth Criminal, for more music uploads. Not really anything else to talk about. If you want to see my cringy like remixes and original music, I have my music channel, which I'll put in the link down in the description below.
And listen to the Black Parade.
Yeah, listen to the Black Parade, unless you're already watching this and have already heard it. Because
Yeah.
if you haven't heard it and you're watching this, you're kind of freaking weird.
Can we get like the weekly shout outs that you do in the outros?
Weekly shout. Okay, you want to do the weekly shout out thing I used to do?
Yeah.
All right, so here's my weekly shout out. Shout out to SMNICK and Scarabyte because they're here and I kind of have to or else they'll kill me. Shout out to Nicholas Stoller because I was gonna do a review with him. Well, actually, no, I did a review with him of Philosophy of the World, but he hasn't posted it yet. So screw you, post it. I'm kidding. Shout out to the air because if I didn't have air, I wouldn't be able to live. So shout out to that. Shout out to my family for raising a disappointment. Love you guys.
Okay.
And
Shout
final
out to
thing.
Aunt Marie for gathering all of Gerard's things. Really a homie for doing that one.
Oh, definitely. Thanks to the awful. Oh wait, no, definitely that was Gerard. Never mind. Last thing I wanna say is shout out to Eddie Vedder because he's my favorite vocalist of all time, and Gerard Way's number 2. All right, that's my shout out. I'm done. But yeah, so that's gonna wrap this video up. Kind of a different video, a really long video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Yeah. I almost said my
Kill
old
all your
intro. That
friends.
would have been bad. Kill all your friends.